Greetings to you all. Welcome to Creative Writers. Pen Crowns Vision. Creative Writers Children's Magazine. Quarterly issue November 2022. Released on 14th November 2022. Founder Editor Mrs. D. Brinda. Government High School, Melpattambakam. Concept Designer and Media Head Mr. Barathwaj. Yes. In this issue, we have around 50 schools and more than 200 students participating. It is really worth mentioning. It is a privilege to tell that it was a memorable instance and unforgettable event which happened in Creative Writers Children's Magazine inaugural issue, previous issue. It has given a great opportunity to all the enthusiastic kids. Many of their dreams and wishes have come true. For many students, this was the first time they see their name with their article in print. On behalf of Creative Writers family, we congratulate and wish all the students a great success. We will be failing in the duty if we don't thank the teachers and the parents who motivated them to write or draw here. Writing is a skill which has to be developed in the early stage. In the present scenario, many of us do not know how to vent out our emotions, feelings, and thoughts. Instead, they are suppressed. They are not practiced to channelize their feelings. Had they known their EQ, emotional quotient level, it would be a balanced stage. All sorts of malpractice, deviation, diversion, and distraction in negative manner could be very well sorted out and channelized in a better manner. As said by Mrs. Mahalakshmi from Creative Writers Group, I went out all my feelings and emotions in the form of writing in Creative Writers Group daily. She further added that her heart becomes light and free from all burdens. It becomes as light as a feather only because of writing. Earlier, she used to shout it all, and now there is a transformation only because of writing. I personally feel that this is the need of the hour. Yes, today is Children's Day, and this is the need of the hour to appreciate all the students, encourage them, and motivate the children. It is time for us to pat on our back. Children should not be like a frog in the well. Instead, they should come forward to express their talents in many ways. Of course, studies are important, but there is no harm in spreading a few. There is no harm in spending a few minutes in extracurricular activities. In life, there are joys and sorrows. Try to equalize them. Manage the time well. Then you'll sure to reach the peak of success. Before that, we have to undergo a lot of challenges in life, disappointments, difficult tasks we have to endure. In the present scenario, we have a lot of opportunities in our hand. We have to grab it before it leaves. If we make use of it well, surely it will give good result for you all. Let us together learn. Together we shall share our emotions, knowledge and thoughts. It will be pleasure or pain. Wishing you all the very best. In this issue, Brinda as well as Mr. Rajkumar has written poem for Children's Day, and Dr. Pennian Selvakumari ma'am has written Elder's Talk. Mr. Anil has written Guest of Honor Elder's Talk. And the editors are Miss Brinda, Mr. Barathwaj, Mr. Ramesh, Mrs. Edil, Mrs. Sumati, Dr. Kailvidi, Mr. Santanam, Mrs. Shardamina, Mrs. Padma Jayanti, Mrs. Chandralekha Guruswamy, Mrs. Ramapriya. And if you see the scaffolders of this particular magazine, Mrs. Brinda, Mrs. Manjeri, Mrs. Gandhimadi, Mrs. Aruna, Mrs. Anjana Devi, Mrs. Ramapriya, Mrs. Sumati, Dr. S. Kailvidi, Mrs. Varalakshmi, Mrs. Meera, Mrs. V.T. Kavita, Mrs. C. Shanti, Mrs. Padma Jayanti, Mr. Enoch Prabhu, Mrs. Margadam, Mrs. Hamsavalli, Mrs. Tushara, Mrs. Gayatri, Mrs. Kamakshi, Mrs. Anuradha, Mrs. Mahalakshmi, Mrs. Alice Jnanathanga Pushpam, Mrs. Shardamina, Mrs. Abhirami, Mrs. Chandralekha Guruswamy, Mrs. A. Sushila, Mrs. J. Edil. These are the scaffolders of great writers. It means they have motivated, encouraged, inspired kids to write and draw. And the well-wishers of great writers are Dr. P.V. Krishna Kishore, Mr. A. Karthik Raja, Mr. Anil Thiru C. Tirumugam. We need all their blessings forever. A book review is given by Mrs. Brinda on the book Sparkles of a Little Heart. And review of the previous issue is given by Mrs. S. Sumati and Mrs. R. Gayatri. Certificate issue to all the contributors of Great Writers magazine. These certificates and medals were sponsored by Nallasriyar Mr. A. Karthik Raja SGT Bhuvanagiri Kadalur, initiator and coordinator of Online Kalvi Radio, KR Team Educational Materials Corner, Kadalur District. Thank you, sir. Since this is the Children's Day function, so let me read a small poem for the children. Happy Children's Day. Dear my sweet children, Happy Children's Day. Unbound happiness I feel on this auspicious day. To greet you, wish you on this blessed day. Many, many happy returns on this Children's Day. This day, Uncle Nehruji was born. Seeds of freedom and responsibility were sown. Children seated on Nehruji's coat as red, red rose so bright. Inside his heart as never fading flower. To see the children come up in various colors. A special and holy day for children. To celebrate and recognize them a bit higher. You all made the class lively and interesting, sharing ideas and interrogating. Till my death, I'll pray for you. I owe a lot for your innocent affection. Whenever you committed mistake, I punished. It's not at all out of hatred, but out of love and concern. I scolded and advised you for your benefits, to mold you all to be wonderful citizens of India. My wholehearted wishes for your bright future, to reach the desired destination. May your name and fame spread in all directions. Come out in flying colors in the sky. Always be brave, accept any challenges. Be wise and behave well to be loved by all. Always be happy with an ever smiling face. You will be definitely achieve everything in life. You all fly higher and higher. Come up, adding feathers of various colors. If a teardrops come out of your eye, it must be of a happy one and not a sorrow one. Keep up the name of the institution even after you reach the desired position. Get wishes from all your teachers and be blessed abundantly in your future. We are all really proud to have such gems of children in this mighty nation. You are all the asset of the institution. Mold yourself a bit to be seated in high position. No mother, no teacher, no elder wants you to lag behind. So obey them without reasoning. You shall reap the harvest multifold. Sacrifice a bit of pleasure now. Achieve a whole lot of happiness then. Be wise in your dealings. Be gentle in your ways. The road to success is not broad and soft. To get a rose, you have to feel the thorn prick. So, face the challenges bravely. Accept the disappointments cheerfully. Be not like a wood in the running stream. Be like a fish to swim against the waves. Always be a winner and achiever. Do something different from others. Raise your heel a bit higher. Automatically, your head will be lifted. Light the lamps of many lives and erase the darkness from others' life. This day is a memorable one for you and for me. From now on, you'll face the realities of life. Do not be deceived by the trick of light. Be wise enough to recognize wolf in sheep's clothing. Distinguish between right and wrong, good and evil with your seventh sense. Sweet in the beginning may alter to bitter, but bitter has proved better forever. Love your mother. Love your mother. Love your mother. Bharat Mata India. Do something for India in your future. Give a helping hand for others who want. Do not listen or act upon others' advice. Listen to your self-conscience. Be your supreme judge. Walk with your shoulders raised. Talk with your eyes in the other. Never point your finger to other. Get away from selfishness and self-praise. Regret your mistake when you go wrong. You will be man, my child. Discover and utilize your hidden talents without wasting the precious time. Place a landmark wherever you go and live even after the worldly death. Prove your worth and adjust with any circumstances. Be independent and stand on your own leg. Love everyone equally and gather as many friends. Always be cheerful with an ever smiling face. Remember, God never shuts one door without opening another. Keep in mind, a loving God is always there to lift you up on His tender shoulders. May God bless you and shield you. May success shower upon your life. Enjoy the life thoroughly in future. Do remember all your teachers. Wish you all a very, very happy Children's Day. On behalf of Creative Writers Children's Magazine, 14th November 2022. Thank you. Till we meet through the next issue.